We, as you can tell by the tone of my voice, are talking about staying positive while aging. It's really important, and it is somewhat of a challenge,
Well, a lot of times there's a negative stereotype affiliated with aging.
Well, yeah, because it kind of sneaks up on you. You're watching A3 Aging Ann Arbor, where we talk about aging and what you need to know. I'm Faye Molitor.
And I'm Sheila Doden.
Welcome to the show. You feel like you kind of went from being a 20-something-year-old, and all of a sudden you're like a darn near 60-year-old, and you're like, oh, what happened and where did the time go?
Well, I think that everybody gets really busy and you're not really focusing on living in the moment.
Right. Well, and that is definitely the truth of it. Aging with a positive attitude is a challenge, but it can be done, and it's super important. It's super important for our mind, our souls, our spirits, our body. It works with everything. And there are many, many ways of doing that. There's actually an effect, and I have it right here because I don't remember it, so I'm going to read it. The age-related positivity effect is a cognitive process trend in which older people tend to favor positive stimuli over negative ones. I do believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like I've gotten much more positive in the aspect of just not letting the small stuff affect me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can take you down a wormhole. I feel like, if you don't get caught up in all of the little nuances of things, you don't let yourself get sucked in as much. You're able to say to yourself, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
Life slows down a little bit for you, too. I don't know that it necessarily actually slows down. I think that we just handle it better.
Yeah.
And, just waking up slow is super cool. I wake up super early now. I was not able to do that when I was younger. Sleep was all I cared about. And I would sleep till noon and miss the half the day. And now it's, 5:30, waking up. And during this time of year, it's getting light earlier. Then the birds are chirping, and it's just such a lovely thing.
And I like all of those things too, but I'm not a 5:30.
I know you're not.
Person.
That's okay. But the point being is that I didn't notice those things before.
Sure.
Like I notice them now. So that this effect of aging, this positivity effect of aging, it really is something. And I really do enjoy the fact that I can slow down and actually smell the roses, and you notice the beauty in life. You don't get so caught up in the day-to-day routine. Like there's a routine, but you don't get too caught up in it. I don't know how to explain that.
Well, you get little breaks in between.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a task anymore. It's just you do what you have to do to get through the day, and it doesn't feel like a daunting task, whereas when I was younger, I felt like things were a little more daunting. It felt harder. It felt more challenging. And now it doesn't feel challenging. It just feels...
now you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do certain things, but now you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, I did what I had to do, so I got to do what I wanted to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, with that being said, having some type of goal in mind,
sure,
it is really helpful to just get up without having something in mind that you want to accomplish. I mean, whether it be something new, whether it be something that's task orientated. I mean, there's many ways to look at that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, goals are important. I do also believe that there's certain things we can and cannot control. And, you're going to have the aches and pains with aging, and you can live a healthy lifestyle and keep up with nutrition and keep up with exercise, and that'll help with the aches and pains. It actually might even cause a little more of the aches and pains.
Sure.
But it's okay. But it's focusing on what you can control and not on what you can't. And that has become much easier for me too as I mature.
Sure. Well, and when you focus on the things that you can't control, it tends to bring you down.
Sure.
And it doesn't allow you to continue to have that positive perspective on things.
It is. And also, I really believe that a lot of people lose sight of the here and now, and they tend to live in the past. And I always, in my mind, have that Rafiki moment in The Lion King, if anyone out there has watched The Lion King, where something happens to Simba and Rafiki smacks him in the head with his little walking stick or whatever, and Simba says, "Why'd you do that?" And he said, "It doesn't matter. It's in the past."
Right.
And it really is so true, because when you live in the past, you are missing out on so much because you're still focused on all of the things that either you didn't do, should have done, and the woulda, coulda, shouldas in life do not help with that positivity.
They don't. You harbor resentment for those things, and that is not a good way to feel.
Well, resentment possibly for if it was something that happened with somebody
even
else.
resentment
But
if you chose not to do something that you wanted to do.
Right.
You're resentful that you didn't do that.
You're mad at yourself.
Right.
You get mad at yourself and you think, I should have done that. But it is so important to stay in the moment. Sleep is a little more challenging with age. I don't know.
For you, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Again, this is where we differ.
Yeah.
I get up early. She sleeps like a corpse. So
not quite that bad, but close.
Anyway, I tend to wake up not multiple times in the night. I'd say maybe one time, usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and my mind starts reeling. And I've learned how to turn that off with just saying the word slumber. I know that seems weird, but it's important to learn how to trick yourself into certain things with age, because it's important. Sleep is hugely important, and will help with staying positive and being happier. The sleep deprivation is really significant.
Well, and I also think that when you're sleeping, I mean, you are doing a lot of work in your mind when you're sleeping. Even though you're restful, you're still working. Yeah. I mean, when you're resting, it's a peaceful thing if you try and make it that way, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's something that I think every person differs as far as how they sleep and how, how that works for them. But that's huge. Sleep is huge. It keeps your mind well.
Correct.
And your body.
Correct. I think that's what I meant when I was saying that you're working.
Yeah. I mean, we all have negative influences in our lives. That's just something that you can't stop. The news, world events, all of the things. There's been horrible weather events happening recently. And of course, politics is always something that, that is a constant. There's always, now we have wars happening in the world, and they're tragic, and It's hard to see. It's important to keep up with, but it's not something that you want to focus on too much.
Well, I think that's where keeping yourself open to, social things,
Mm-hmm.
and close maybe with, we talked about this before, but with family,
Yeah.
close friends,
Yeah.
making sure that you're continuing to do those things. And those conversations might come up here and there, but you make a conscious choice to, again, focus in the moment when you're participating in those social type things.
For sure. Yeah, no, that it is it's funny. You absorb each second as you age. It is slowing down. You learn your and it does kind of come naturally. I'm gonna say, but I think involving healthy living,
Sure.
involving exercise, involving nutrition, and staying social, like you said, but you do slow down and you do smell the roses and enjoy all of the moments in life. New grandbabies
Sure.
and spending time with the grandkids and taking a walk. And in our area right now, everything's in bloom and oh gosh, it's so beautiful. And we have a nice stream that I walk Nora, our dog, down, and there's turtles that are plopping into the water as I'm walking down the stream.
Mm-hmm.
They're just jumping one at a time. There were like 16 of them, and there's big lilac bushes. And I just stopped Nora and I picked a bunch of lilacs, and those things just help me live a more positive, meaningful life.
Sure.
And everyone can find what that looks like for them. But that's just an example of, I think, living a positive life as you age. Really, anytime, but we're specifically talking about aging. So,
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It's all in
Yeah.
what you choose to do with it.
Sure.
So,
There is research that proves that when you live a more positive life, that there is longevity involved in
sure.
that. So, if you're looking to extend your lifespan, staying over and above the healthy nutrition and the socialization and the exercise, keeping a positive mental attitude is also going to help with that longevity.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I feel like with all of those things forementioned by you, that it does boost your resilience to things when those negative things do come up. You're able to not focus on that or overcome some of those easier.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You wish that you could help every single person find what it is that you have in yourself,
sure.
because I live a pretty happy life. I'm pretty blessed. I love
Yeah, I
working
think,
with you
yeah,
every
we both
day.
do.
The podcast is so fun and hopefully offers really great information to people. I just, I'm overflowing, I feel,
Yeah,
with happiness. And I want that so badly for
sure.
folks. And so hopefully, having this conversation right now and giving some ideas of how to do that will be a little part of being able to offer that to people.
I agree. And
Yeah.
you and I were just talking about some of that yesterday, with our staff,
Yeah.
and how we approach, each day and some of those more challenging situations that come up with our clients who are aging, and how do we better help our staff continue to stay positive, not have opinions about things, be
Sure.
resilient, and
Sure.
that has that'll cause the, what we say, the trickle down effect to
Sure.
people,
Yeah. Of
which is
successful aging,
absolutely,
which is being happy while aging
absolutely,
and healthy and all the things.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
It's a beautiful thing. I think we do really well. And, sort of, we are, Sheila and I are super focused on culture here in our company, and that culture is staying positive and staying productive and being kind to each other and supporting each other and comforting each other and all of those things. And anytime anything challenging happens, we are approaching it in the most respectful, positive way.
Yeah,
in order to hopefully teach that to our staff. And I believe in saying that a lot of folks, for whatever reason, get so caught up in, what other people are doing.
Sure.
And so I think focusing on yourself is probably super important with the aging process or at any point in life. And it doesn't matter what other people are doing unless it
directly affects
you. And then if it does directly affect you, going to the horse's mouth and talking to that person about it in a very respectful, assertive way, in a kind way and not in a bitey way.
Yeah.
But definitely not talking with another coworker or another neighbor or family member or whatever about that other person and what happened, instead of going to the person that they actually had that issue with.
Right.
So I think that also is involved in staying positive.
Oh, yeah.
It's a training of yourself.
It is. And it's transferable outside of here. You can take that anywhere.
Sure.
Which is a beautiful thing, to any situation and handle it with eloquence.
Yeah.
And feel confident and comfortable in the way that situation is being approached with people.
Integrity. It really is important. And I mean, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes sometimes and understand that if it were me and I did something that directly affected you, and you didn't come to me with your grievance or whatever it was that hurt you, but you went to somebody else about it, that just causes so much havoc.
Sure.
Because now I'm hurt. But really, if you had come to me and told me that I did that, and whatever it was as a scenario, then I would have just had that discussion with you and we would have moved forward with it, and put it in the past.
Right. And I think that that's part of what we were talking about living in the moment and not living in the past.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to move through those and navigate those situations to be
obstacle courses.
To be able to put them in the past and be able to really move forward. And I do feel like it is a challenge and you have to work at it.
Oh, yeah.
And I just hope that other people can see that from us.
Oh, sure. I mean, I know that the people that we directly see every day, our loved ones, our coworkers, our clients, our caregivers, all of them, they see how we hold ourselves and what, in all reality, our expectations are. We're allowed to have expectations too. That is part of getting older.
Sure.
But you have to understand those expectations have to be of yourself and not others.
Absolutely.
And you can't ever have expectations of others because you will be let down. Yes, you will be let down. But effective communication is super important, whether it be with your loved ones or your coworkers or your neighbors or your friends. And learning how to effectively communicate is something that I learned as I aged from many people that I consider mentors in my life, which was anybody I came across that I admired. And I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do feel like when you're practicing those things, it does help increase cognitive function.
Sure.
Because you're not just stuck in the day to day,
Sure.
you really have to be able to think about those things.
Yeah, no, it's really true. But that's the other part of, I think, positivity is staying sharp, doing things that helps uh, keep you cognitively well. And socialization is huge, and spending time with friends and spending time with family is a big deal. But there is also something to be said about the significance of alone time and just doing what it is that you enjoy in that moment. And if it to keep your brain stimulated or your creative, edge stimulated, depending on what you're interested in. I just love listening to birds. Like I said, I love gardening. I love stained glass. I make stained glass. So whatever it is that you're interested in doing, you should really make effort to do it. And don't stop doing those things. There's no reason to stop. A lot of people just think that at a certain point in life, that's not something that they want to do anymore. And that always makes me really sad.
Sure.
Because I just don't understand it. I mean, I guess if there's physical reasons for not being able to do those things, if your vision is starting to falter or your fine motor skills are depleted, then I understand it. But if you're able to do those things, you should continue to do those things because they will bring you that joy. Yeah.
Well, and I think that surrounding yourself with others, even if it's virtually, that are interested in, some of the same things that you're interested in, can help you learn new things.
That's the coolest thing about this time, this era right now, is that we can be across the world from each other and we can still hang out. Technology is pretty cool. So that should be something that people keep in mind as well. The connections that maybe they aren't making right now, they can, and they should try and do that. I believe in hanging on to that inner child.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am never going to let go of it. I am a 12-year-old inside. I love bugs. I love dirt.
She does.
I do. And animals and all the things. I just will never grow up. I have to be an adult because that's what you have to do in life. But I do also believe that hanging on to that inner child keeps you positive and lighten up, loosen up.
Yeah. I was just going to say that you don't have to be so serious about everything. I mean, of course, there's moments where you have to be serious, but really, in all actuality, where does that get you?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right. No, I know.
Nothing is so devastating or serious. I mean, of course, there's things that happen to people.
Oh, yeah.
Understood. But on the daily, to be so serious about things, man, a lot of it, you just need to let it roll off.
I think that it's something that, and I think it's in America, I believe, and this is not scientific and I have done no research, but I will tell you that I feel like in other cultures and other countries that they know how to live slow and happy, and they aren't so what word am I? We are workhorses here in the US. We are focused on moving constantly in a day. Our kids don't even really have childhoods anymore because they're so involved in so many different things. And I think that it becomes everything is a task. Everything is a task. And that it is important to not take life that seriously, but we're kind of conditioned from the time that we're super young to believe that our days have to be filled and that we shouldn't, if it's not filled, then you're not doing it right. And that is not necessarily true.
Right.
I think we need to slow down.
Well, I mean, I think back to my mom's era, and I think it was kind of the start of maybe this trend where women were working full time, and there was still that expectation that they were running the household and that they were holding a full time job and that they were, involved in, church or, other larger organizations like that. So they were being pulled in so many different directions versus the generation before her. There wasn't that expectation. Moms stayed home with their kids and in the days, maybe were feeling like they were a bit longer because you were home all day with them, but you had more, I feel like, more meaningful, productive interactions because maybe you were outside working in the gardens with your kids or, other things, not the day-to-day activities outside of the house.
Yeah. No, that's really true.
Yeah.
It is a different era. However, I did hear on the news this morning or yesterday morning that the trend is becoming more towards the stay-at-home mom again.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yes, the young couples that are having babies now are trying to make it so only one of those parents are working outside the home. It doesn't have to be just the mom. It's the dad too.
Right.
But yeah, we did definitely grow up in a different era. My mother did not work outside the home. There were 7 of us. So, and she was a little older than your mom. So, she was a stay-at-home mom, and the things changed. I was more of that trend breaker where myself and my husband both worked. Mm-hmm. So, it's
not a bad thing.
No,
not a bad
it's
thing.
not a bad thing. It's just learning how to juggle that, but understanding that we don't have to constantly be going. Mm-hmm. And with age, that is super important to really slow down and really enjoy. And most of us can with age.
Yeah.
Most of us can.
Yeah, we're afforded that opportunity and blessed that way.
Yes.
I mean, I can say that, we go over to see our grandsons and they have no concept of slowing down. None.
They're little.
Whatsoever.
They're so little.
But James and I have the opportunity now where we can just sit back and watch and slow down.
I know, isn't that fun?
Take it all in, which is
that's the best part of getting older is that your kids are having kids and your grandkids are just there for you to enjoy with every ounce of what you have. And you are not responsible for them.
Exactly.
You're somewhat responsible, but not the main responsible.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's so great. It is so great. I do love that. Sugar them up and send them home.
Absolutely. Yep.
And let them do all the things that they can't do at home at your house.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I love that too.
Yeah. But that's so fun.
So all of that is part of being optimistic and continuing to have a positive perspective on things.
Yeah. Just being mindful. Meditation's good. I call it mindful moments. I don't call it meditation. I like mindful moments. And
that's way better than senior moments.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Because that's a negative connotation.
It
really is.
That is part of the staying positive is that, we are like, there's stereotypical thoughts about what aging looks like. And yes, senior moments are one of them. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, I have them.
But we don't call them that.
Yeah, no. Right. No, it's total forgetfulness. I mean, man, I can't tell you how many times my husband will say, there was something, whatever he's looking for. It was sitting right here. You know where it is? And I'm like, yeah, but no.
I moved it, but I don't know where.
I put it somewhere. Yeah. Give me a minute. Yeah. I'm going to fit. Yeah. Right. I'm going to have to search my brain and find it. And you've got to go to backtracking to get there.
Yep.
But
And you don't get upset with yourself when you do that.
Yeah.
You just say, Okay.
I'm going to figure this
figure
out.
it out.
Yeah, no, I don't. But I am absolutely, I feel blessed and I feel privileged every day for my life, my longevity, and my wellness. That is important. A lot of people are not afforded the privilege of aging. And there's people that lose their lives very young and they don't even know what it would be like to age. So keeping that in mind as well and understanding how privileged you are if you're aging and you're doing it well.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That is the biggest part of that, I think, is you can make aging well whatever that needs to be for you in order to continue to have that positive outlook on it. And again, everybody's going to have things that come up that might be a challenge, little aches and pains here and there.
Oh, that's inevitable. Yeah. Those things are going to happen. And there is nothing that we can do about that. There are some little issues that happen with the body and the body's a fine oiled machine, but it gets old and it can only take so much. So we just got to keep it as healthy and as oiled and moved and, keep it moving, keep it well fed, and you should be good. But none of us are leaving this earth, or none of us are staying on this earth. Right. We're all going to leave this earth. And we just don't know when that will be. And so you got to make the most of every second that you have here.
And again, I feel like that is all right here. If you have a good perspective and a good outlook on things, everything becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah, see, you're more the mind thinker and I'm more the heart thinker. That's why we work well together. I feel like it's from here. And we will make it happen. So, to sum it up, don't let go of that inner child. Stay young at heart.
You have to.
Yeah.
You do.
And be mindful. So stay young at heart and be mindful of every second that you have and see it as a privilege, because aging is a privilege.
It is.
Yeah. Well, that was really good. Yeah, thanks for talking about it. We're really happy that you guys joined us with this conversation today. We hope that we were able to offer some really good, viable information to you all about staying positive and the privilege of aging. And we would also very much appreciate if you would please, if you enjoyed this episode, please click that bell button below and subscribe.
And this episode has been brought to you by Senior Helpers.
That was A3 Aging Ann Arbor, your source for all things aging.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Thanks for watching.
This episode was sponsored by Senior Helpers of Ann Arbor.